Betsy here today with the American Intelligence Media, and we left Thomas behind, and with one of my dear girlfriends, Nina, who's been on this spiritual journey with me for so many years, and we were having a delightful conversation and thought that the gals in the audience might like to hear a little bit of what we're talking about.
We're talking about everything.
Right,
and we just realized, oh my God, we're going so deep in the rabbit hole that we should be sharing this information. And the thing is, when two people who are equally to some degree equally, you know what equal is, but we both have been on this path for so long. We both learned so much, and so we catalyze each other when we're talking. We spark
right
to go deeper
and one of the things that we're talking about right now is that the shift is here. We've talked about the shift for many years, and now we're seeing it play out in the geopolitical world, but also the spiritual world. We're looking at our friends and our environment, and we're seeing them react to it. And my goodness, what has happened to even our own inner circle as they have responded to the shift?
And a lot of people are digging deeper into holding on to their reality because it's getting scarier. But I'm seeing more and more people also opening up and just getting little tidbits. Like I was speaking to a friend the other day, and she knows I'm so open and in consciousness, and she was very excited to tell me that she had just started learning started receiving Reiki treatments or whatever, things that she would have never probably done previously. But we have to awaken now. I mean, the shift is already in place. And here's the thing. Back in the 80s and in the 90s, even in the late 70s, I started learning about all this stuff. And I'm saying, is this ever going to happen, really? And it's a continuum. It's not an end-point event. It's a continuum of change. And it's just accelerating. And I think the Mayan calendar was a point of bringing people to the understanding that we're moving into a new era. And the era in 2012 was we were moving into the era of transparency. And so up until that point, everybody would say, well, the Mayan calendar meant that the world was ending. No, it wasn't ending. The world was changing, and now we were moving into a place where everything that was hidden before would now be revealed, so that truth could be revealed and that we could move forward into an era of peace.
Right. And it's not like this event happened, boom, the next day you wake up and the shift has occurred.
Right.
It's going to happen for people in different ways because they are at a stage of consciousness. Everybody is at a different stage of consciousness. And so it's more like an unfolding of a rose. It's just this unfolding of greater and greater awareness. And people call it red pilling. But I was totally red pilled the other day, Nina, when the facts showed me that we never really won the American Revolutionary War, and that our history books are nothing but propaganda probably originating from the work of the Tavistock Institute in England. I was also totally red pilled when the research took us to realize that the Queen of England still has control over America, and they do so in the form of corporations. And we're getting ready to come out with an article that shows us this isn't conspiracy theory anymore. We show you the indictable evidence. But it's interesting now because our paths just run right into David Icke, right? You remember years ago, people would go, oh my gosh, David, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe not so.
He's known it all along. And can you imagine, my heart goes out to David Icke because for years and years and years and years, and I remember listening to him a decade, 2 decades ago, and he has been trying to tell us this stuff. And he stands on stages over and over again, probably gets tomatoes thrown at him or whatever. He was telling the truth.
Nina, you have you've been helping people awake. You've just done so much work over many decades trying to wake people up about what's going on. And I can remember the early days when they looked at you and thought, oh yeah, Nina, right. But now they're actually coming to you saying, you know what you were saying many years ago? Tell me more. Mm-hmm. And what were the things that you were saying to people back then, 10 years ago?
Well, I was trying to tell people that we were in a time of a shift. and earlier I mentioned the Mayan calendar. That was just a marker of time, but we were in a time of shift. And the thing that is the wild card, yes, we're changing geopolitically. Yes, we're changing technologically. Yes, we're changing spiritually. But the really wild card is that there is an energetic shift happening in the cosmos, and there is the energy is never going to be the same. And of course, we don't know what day it changes or if there is a series of changes. I think what we're seeing right now with the Schumann resonance is there's a quickening happening where the energetic frequency of our planet is shifting, and it's pulsing at a higher hertz frequency. So that wild card is that what is facilitating the change that we're going through is a cosmological event where our whole solar system is quickening. This energy that's coming into the planet is affecting our DNA structure. It's affecting every aspect of our being. Another part of the shift, our children are being born different, and we all know that. You just ask a school teacher who's been teaching for 30 years. Tell me how your children you're teaching are different than they were 30 years ago. Children are brighter. They come in hardwired. They know, they already are. So the children are different. They're new. They're a greater capacity right out the gate. So that's all a DNA shift that's going on, and that's coming for everybody. No one will not be, that's a double negative, but everyone will be affected by this energetic shift that is on its way. It's already arriving here. I know a lot of people are saying they feel dizzy, they feel woozy, they feel headachy, that they're sleeping for hours on end in the middle of the day, or they can't sleep. I mean, it is affecting the human body as well as the plant life, the animal kingdom, the insect kingdom, mutations happening within the plant and animal kingdom. So we're seeing it in every.
And the exciting thing is, and I was telling you the story earlier, our friend Michael McKibben, who was the actual designer and innovator, the inventor of social media until Mark Zuckerberg and the IBM Eclipse Foundation stole it from him, and we now realize the corruption at the U.S. Patent Office and the involvement of Serco. So we see that there was no way that Michael could have kept his amazing invention, because these corrupt people were going to take it from him. But these corruptocrats that we call them, not creative. They don't know how to reach into the spirit world and use their imagination and their creativity to create things. The only thing they can do is steal from one another. And so what happened is that they stole the internet from Michael. And so they're using the internet. They think they're going to use it for propaganda purposes. But it's like a young boy who might steal his father's car and not know how to drive it, and then they crash it. They don't know how to drive it. What we did at the American Intelligence Media is we know how to drive it. Mm-hmm. And we have flown this thing all over the world now. People come in, they pick up information, they educate their audience, and what's happening is that information, good information, intelligence is rapidly reaching a critical amount of people in the same time. Right. Whereas before, Nina, it would have taken years.
Oh,
now
yeah.
It happens instantaneously. So I see that as working right with what you're saying about the quickening.
It's funny. They thought that they were going to control us by these ways and means, but we're giving them a little run for their money, aren't we?
Yes. They think that Julian Assange, for example, may be the source where all of this information is coming from, because they don't know where it's coming from. But where it's coming from are thousands and thousands of alternative independent media creators who are now taking their narrative and educating their audience. Now, you have an audience. You've educated your audience. You used to use Facebook, and you don't use that anymore. What happened with Facebook?
I finally had a reckoning that Facebook, any NSA spying or any ways that the government is spying on us is not my friend. I didn't want them to use anything against me, and I decided I needed to go and find a new venue for or a new way to share my information. And I'm still in the question of how am I going to do this. It's interesting, I sent a text yesterday to my sweetheart and I said, I'm sitting here, I'm trying to figure out how best to serve humanity in the future going forward. And with Facebook, I felt that I was serving humanity, but then I noticed that I was preaching to the choir a lot. And then I also noticed that it had become so automated. Everything was so polished. Stories that's coming across Facebook, they had beautiful videos and great words flashing across the screen. And I'm saying, this is not the organic Facebook of 2009 when I got on Facebook, where I was communicating with people. It's become a business. It's become a marketing avenue. And everybody that really is liking my information anyway, they already know all this stuff. Right. That's why they like it. They're going, go, Nina, go. It wasn't serving, the energy that I was putting into it wasn't serving the good of the whole. So I'm looking for a new way to serve humanity in a way that I can keep my vibration high. It'll come to me. I'm just kind of in the middle of shift.
We wanted to add another voice to the American intelligence media. We very rarely have other females that'll join us. They go, whoa, I don't want to be in that den with those guys. So let us know what you think. If you'd like to hear more from Nina and Betsy, of course you know I am Tyler Gabriel, but if you want to hear more from us and if there are pressing questions to ask, let us know, because we can take this conversation further into the more spiritual
consciousness, higher vibration, expanded beingness. I mean, that's where we're going.
Yeah.
This is where we're going. This other stuff of the breaking down of the geopolitical structure, that's important. That's very important. I'm so happy that Tyler and Douglas are doing this, because it needs to be done. It needs to be said. It needs to be exposed. But where we're really going is the evolution of our individual consciousness. We're going to a world of peace. We're going into a world of love. The most important thing is to hold the vibration of love and kindness. If you stay kind, you are in love. And if you just overlay the thought, I'm going to be kind today in all that I do, then you will find yourself vibrating to love. It's just one and the same. So just hold that thought.
Yes. And do you mind today, for the thumbnail, I could use one of your beautiful paintings?
Absolutely.
Okay, very
right.
good. We'll talk soon, Nina.
Okay, thank you.